So let's just see what's going to develop in this game. As I said before, we're having France versus the Japanese. The Japanese obviously looking to have a strong H3 agenda here. So all they really want is to be left alone in the second age while they build up their economy to push out those really powerful units in the third age. And the France civilization could perhaps put like a Rex over here, build perhaps also a stable and just poke around a bit. I would be surprised to see France actually overtaking the entire town and taking the TC down. But that's not what you regularly see. Probably it will be just like a push in the second age and then age up and sending the cannons. Now, meanwhile, we have oh, let me just fix the sound. We have the market coming up, and that means that soon enough we're going to see probably hunting dogs being researched. And as I said before, hunting dogs do add an added bonus, not that much. I think it's around 5 extra food per villager per minute, but for the price of hunting dogs, well worth the investment. 40 wood being picked up. Major Dog is going to be really happy with that, and both players have scouted at least the greater part of them. Let's take a look at the Huns. We've got 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. Well, quite remarkably, the Huns seem to be fair, because this one is comparable to this one. So we've got 3 Huns. I think both seem to be missing the 4th, or it is placed rather far out. The mines are similar, the Huns are similar. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So we can play this. Let's go. Around the trade post route, we do have a lot of nice treasures to be picked up. Both players in roughly in the same area, so there are possibilities for some treasure contentions. Now 50 coin, really nice for the French player, and another 40 wood. Now this is definitely a treasure these 2 monks really are headed for. A bit of lag, quite to be expected. Major Dog has indicated that in the weekends his internet isn't too reliable, but so far so good. I think the native scout has scouted most of the map, has seen where roughly the resources are. Japan, of course, doesn't need the Huns really, just wants to shrine them as many as he can. Like as soon as there's 4 animals attached, you got like 53 resources per second. That's quite, that's almost like a villager without upgrades. It's almost like a villager on berries, right? It's just, so this is basically a free villager on berries. It's quite good. That's quite interesting that the 40 coin hasn't been picked up by Major Dog, because I think he has passed it. And this actually means that most of the map has been researched, has been scouted, and I think most of the treasures have been picked up as well. I'm not quite sure if there's there aren't any left. And so let's take a look. Both players have clicked in roughly at the same time, which is quite good for the Japanese player. They're mostly a bit slower than other civs. And let's see if Major Dog is going for a bit of aggressive play, and he very well might be, simply because of this really forward placed trading post. And so right from the get-go, he's probably planning on taking this controversial 5-post trading route. I wish I could use the the taunt, but I can't, because now I'm by myself, and if I would taunt, then these players would be disturbed in their concentration. Second shrine, third shrine probably, yeah, third shrine coming up, so it's roughly like having an extra villager now. He has placed his shrine production on wood, which is actually quite a good choice. Like 47 wood production is very close to what a villager would do. And so this is putting these shrines on wood. Seems to me, I haven't calculated precisely, but it seems to me that 52 on wood, yeah, that's definitely more than a villager. So a villager without any upgrades that would gather around 40 wood, I think, or even 36. So having this shrine produce 52 wood per second, that's quite a lot. I might be mistaken there, because that's by second and I should calculate by minute. I promise you I'll get back on that, but that's quite a lot. Definitely from the stats that I remember, it is a villager on wood. Third trade post going down, and so Major Dog is already clearly stating, like, you need to get out of your base. I don't know if, no, he's allied with the Portuguese, so he cannot have the Japanese Yababushi, the pikemen, come out, because he really actually need them to contest this trade route. There aren't any other units for the France player, so if he had been allied with the Japanese, and that small batch of 4 pikemen, the Yamabushi, would have actually helped him out quite a lot. Meanwhile, he is going to probably be able to take care of at least one, not any longer, there are 4 hussars on the field. Of course, the Japanese civilization is pretty hard to raid. He might be able to pick off one villager over here on the berries, but he's not opting to raid it. He's just probably just going to come here and defend his trade route. Let's put it on text being researched, or of course it doesn't show, but I do expect him to put them in stagecoach quite soon. Meanwhile, all the food upgrades have been researched, even placer mines. And so the France player is seemingly geared completely towards either, let me see, that is, yeah, 700 coin. He is probably geared towards an H3 player, I think. These hussars were only meant to find maybe a stray villager or to deal with this. These hussars should now move away, and I have done so, so that's quite good. Yeah, I didn't know where his explorers are. Probably there was a villager, and it has been stagecoached, and that means around 16 extra villagers added to the economy of Major Dog. Now, meanwhile, quite a number of Ashigaru have come to the field, so they might be able to stop at least the first advance of this massive stagecoach production, but I think he's aging up. Yeah, he is. And he's aged up, and now we really have to think about what am I going to do about the cannons. The Japanese player has gotten a lot of his upgrades, still not the last one. I think that adds 10% to all gathering, and yeah, these musketeers now, they're pretty much useless because he really needs to age up. And I think, let me do the research. Yeah, okay, luckily he is aging up, so you'll be able to send the flaming arrows, which have a slightly longer range than the cannons, the falconets, and so in combination with these nice Ashigarus, he will be able to provide a definitive answer to whatever France has to offer. Falconets now on the field, and moving in to probably take care of these shrines over here. That's basically the first step I will take. Take out all these 5 shrines. Asgard is still trying to tear down one trade post. Goons moving in, cannons moving in, so he is concentrating his entire army here, going to at least defend part of his trade route. And he was trying to build even the 5th one. And I do like it how loloekie has recognized that this trade route needs to be taken care of as quickly as possible. Every stagecoach pass means another 4 villages have delivered resources, strengthening Major Dark's economy. And you know, at a certain point you must admit that even with Japanese, your army cannot deal with the strength of the France units like cuirassiers and skirmishers, and they have some really nice cards. 8 skirmishers added to his army, coming out now together with some guns. The guns, yeah, they are worthwhile. Not necessary at the very moment yet, because most of his army is still infantry. And as you can see, 2 skirts, 1 hussar. Oh, and then we have a few Naginata moving in for falconets. They might be able to get at least 1 falconet down. Skirmish is a bit too late to the battle. And yeah, even though there seem to be a bit less military units on the field for the Japanese player, yeah, at least the danger of the falconets has been taken care of. And yeah, the French player needs to either build another town center or opt to go to the 4th age, I would say. Hasn't got enough food though. Herding quite wildly, I would say. A bit carelessly around the map. Just a tiny batch of Naginatas could actually do some significant damage to his economy. But meanwhile, he does enjoy having almost complete map control. Like, he might actually be able to build most of his trade route back. Yeah, we see a slight disparity in the army units of the French and Japanese player. We do have a few nice pushes on the field, but the guns now at the moment, they should be actually fighting back to get a few of these Magnatas down. Skirmishers have an increased range compared to Ashigara, so they could kite this away. But yeah, Major seems to play a bit cautiously. Well, I would definitely use this villager to wake my explorer up. It is just woken up by Thar, and he's he's really trying to keep his trade route up and running. Now, this means that his economy is still, even though perhaps 36 plus 16, yeah, it is a bit ahead of the Japanese player. Let's see if he has been able to rebuild his army. Not quite yet. I would like to see a bit. Yeah. I would like to see a few cannons. And I was actually hoping when I saw all his gold being depleted that he has made cuirassiers. That he was going up, but instead he has opted to make some cuirassiers. Cuirassiers with some area damage will be able to do some significant damage to all these Yumis. But for this to take effect, he needs to have all of his army concentrated in one spot. And at this moment they're a bit scattered around the field. He has now scouted that there are 2 more falconets in play. So this I do really like. Major Dark has chosen to add a few cannons to the mix. Cannons with an incredible range, can do some long range attack and siege on all these shrines and prevent loloekie having this massive wood income. One shrine going down, that's going to make Mage Dog really content about the effect he is having on the economy of loloekie. He might even opt to take care of these two shrines as well, because he's basically in the area anyways. What I would not do would like push into this. This might turn out to be rather ugly. Naginata is being blocked by the guns and the cuirassiers. It seems it's very hard to see, but it seems that the falconets have been shot. They don't seem to be here anymore. And yeah, this is exactly the point that I was talking about. At a certain point, just the attack and the hit points and just the stats of the Japanese units are just so OP. It's really difficult to deal with that with a European civ. At least in my opinion. Well, it is quite clear that this trade has gone really well in favor of loloekie. He's got a massive amount of military population on the field, whereas most of Major Dog's population is pretty taken up by around 8 cuirassiers. Cuirassiers, yeah, they would do rather well versus this infantry mass, but there are still a few. Well, this is quite a low level. Well, actually, yeah, just from the looks of it, 8 cuirassiers could actually deal with this bowman mass, and don't know why he's moving into it, but at the moment, no, now he shouldn't take it anymore. With the added Naginata who can block any access to these yumis would do so much damage in long range. So this is not, I believe this is not the right composition to deal with what loloekie has got. Definitely needs some guns, well, a lot more cannons. That might be quite interesting. These cannons are quite well defended, hopefully, by the cuirassiers, and can do quite some considerable damage to the bowman. But he does need to pull them back now, like he's losing them, and he shouldn't lose them. If he loses all those cuirassiers, these cannons are going to go. Oh my god, he's not able to block them. Can he kill them? Can he kill them just in time? There's one, there's 2 left. Oh, that is just regrettable. That's just regrettable. I mean, I think we just saw like a little slip there. Like he had to pull those cuirassiers back, save them, just to body block any units kind of aiming for these cannons and let the cannons just shoot away at these units. And at this point, yeah, just a simple batch of 5 Naginatas just managed to take care of all these arguably more stronger, more OP cuirassiers, and also infinitely more expensive, 150% more expensive than Naginatas. Well, loloekie should be quite pleased with himself now. Has got the military advantage. Might be in slight trouble with these cuirassiers at the moment, but these Naginatas have moved in place, trying to save as many units as he can. And here we can see like the strength of the yumis, attacking from distance and even up close, doing a lot more damage than any European civ would do. And look, it is, oh my god, it is like really infuriating to say that the direct counter, a heavy cavalry, a unit like a cuirassé can be so easily kited away by a Japanese army of Yumi. it's so wholly unfair. They have been carded there, so they are quite strong, but it almost feels like a skirmisher the skirmishers were in the beginning of the game. They could do the exact same thing that Yumis are doing right now. They could just stand and fight and like easily just kite away all those arms coming at them. Nicely blocked by Major Dog, and now at this moment, yeah, should he use his Yumis? Should he get more Ashis? Should he get more Naginatas? Well, I guess we found the answer to that. Loloekie has got a lot more army. His eco is up as well. Has taken care of at least 2 trade posts. Might even move to the 3rd one as well. These Naginatas are going to attack the last cannon. And Major Dog is clearly professing his irritation and frustration with this as well. It is at a point where the Japanese economy is just so strong, it just keeps on going on and on. Look, bureaucracy is researched, and yeah, units are just so strong now, and he can just infinitely mass and more. Like, he's got only 10 villages on wood, and already stacking 700 resources, so most of the shrines are on wood, of course. Perhaps they should be on food, perhaps, but meanwhile could build a castle, get a few flaming arrows. Yeah, Loloekie is just so in such a good spot right now, just pushing away Major Dog of all these resources that he's going to need. And yeah, the guns are a good answer to the Naginatas, but he should have a few cannons now. Guns, cannons, perhaps a few skirmishers. I do feel that the investment in the cuirassés was a bit costly, a bit too costly, and they were applied a bit carelessly. And so by losing them, he might have actually lost the game. But let's not talk too hastily. We have a military unit pop of 86 versus 44, which is quite considerable. These guns go in for a nice little cocoon raid, and well, picking up a few Yumis. It's always a good thing to have. And well, I just look at this massive amount of Naginatas moving in, and if they are able to kill all these courier de bois, that would, to me, signal a GD. Like, I don't think, they haven't been great coated. He hasn't researched it, which is really a terrible shame. Like, it is only 75 food, and might have been able to save 2 cuirassiers, which is 240 food. So 75 food save 240 food, plus the aggregated bonus of having these cuirassiers gathering resources. Now we have guns, Naginatas, cuirassiers. Well placed though, and it actually looks like green might actually take this battle. However, 10 more Naginatas moving in, and that's basically just the one. And quite surprisingly, well, not surprisingly, Japan is a really strong div. Loloekie has taken the first match, so congratulations to him. Really well played. Like, he managed to do his thing, the thing that Japanese like to do. Sit in a base, build a few shrines, contest a few bits left in here, and then age up to the third age, and then just continuously add more and more units. And I do believe that here the battle with the falconets and the cuirasses was just regrettable. It might have been a moment where Major Dark could have made a decisive victory take place. So yeah, really well played by arguably the lower ranked player loloekie, but he might also have been decayed, so we never know. Yeah, and here is exactly what I'm talking about. Like that shrine eco is just through the roof, right? And here we see the altercations between the first one with the cuirasses and the cannons, and he's losing them. And every time these trades are a bit less favorable, in the beginning he still has some army, then he doesn't have any, and he's trying to rebuild it and just keeps on losing too many units. A real shame though. But I do have to say, it's not wholly unexpected, to be honest. I mean, in this matchup, I would have probably gone for Brits, right? Like fighting Brits. Let me see. Score updated. Let me see. Let me ask Beautiful to join or not. But in this matchup, I would have. I don't know why, because maybe I'm just like more comfortable. Maybe I'm just more comfortable with Brits, but I would definitely just do like a double Rex Brit H2 pressure, and then trying to contain it. So let's see. Maybe like pop out a few, yeah. Yeah, so Beautiful is saying like that he's exhausted, and yeah, that is actually what truly is the one thing that is the problem with casting. Watching the stream involve and like just like sitting in your chair and commenting on it is quite easy.
Are you ready?
But casting itself is actually quite draining. It's no wonder it's really no wonder and no surprise that there aren't many casters available anyways. One sec. I did have quite a long day actually, so I am also a bit tired, and so I totally understand Beautiful as well, saying like he's totally exhausted after casting 2 games, which is normal, really. I do enjoy the show games afterwards, because the casting somehow seems to be like, you know, vulnerable to a lot of criticism, which isn't really motivating, I would say. But the show casting, I do have a bit more freedom to say or play or do whatever I want to, and in that way they are much more gratifying in that sense. But I have made some decisions on this, and I have decided to at least practice a bit more. I really want to move towards a bit more received pronunciation British, so this is an excellent way for me to enunciate certain words better and get to grips with saying words like exactly and perfectly and absolutely, right? Which is quite hard to do for a Dutch person, right? Those aspirated A's, that's saying just simply saying and it's not normal for us. In any case, that's totally off topic. We have Major Dog and loloekie. Loloekie has gotten the first win on Thar Desert, and we have Major Dog as Dutch. Now, viewers of previous games do know that one, the Dutch are my favorite civ, and two, I keep 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, okay. Hunt seems very fair. I do keep stressing this point, and I've seen it time after time and after time. I remember that game with Conqueror where I just said like he has to herd it, he has to herd those hunts. I'm just basically saying the same thing every game again. Dutch needs to send a villager out now and get these hunts back to his town center as quickly as possible, and possibly I would sacrifice these idle fill seconds, walk all the way here and start with this elephant and then put one on wood. Just keep on herding that elephant back to my base, because my agenda is basically build 5 banks, maybe 6. If I have 6 banks on EP Dutch, that would generate around 1200, probably 1200 coin per minute. Then I would go like market, trade resources, 8 up, send some really OP cards. I would probably have some mercs in it, and that's how I would play my game. Currently, Major Dog has opted for the more standard way, I would say, trying to minimize idle fill time and just getting his herds as quickly as possible. Let's see. Well, he is going to pick up a really nice treasure, 50 wood. Oh, he hasn't. He hasn't. Oh, you've seen it though. Like, in one game, I actually had the same thing. It was actually a rather large treasure, and you just misclick it, or you click it too fast. And he has probably also scouted the next treasure in the corner, because he seems to be aiming for it. He is. So this is a fantastic treasure for Dutch. Like at this point I would say, yeah, definitely just build a market. Just go with the market. He's going to pick up a really nice 80 wood treasure. And yeah, yesterday I was talking about the 10% reduction treasure. Sacrificing scouting.
Yes.
Sacrificing scouting for that treasure. I mean, yeah, I would totally take it, especially as a Dutch player. Like having those routers pop out so quickly. Like, really try it. On Mongolia you have them, right? Try it. Even your hussars come out so quickly. Actually, it just feels so much faster, and that's a really worthwhile bonus to me. Hunts have been herded quite nicely. The elephants haven't been touched, seem to be drifting off, and that's a darn shame. That's so much food. They could have been herded at the exact same spot as these herds are. But he is going to be safe at least well into the second age, third age. But then once he has reached the third age, he is strapped for food. And there's a small hunt over here probably, but he needs to get these elephants back here. Russian player in the meanwhile has herded these hunts perfectly. I would say this is just like a really nice herding done over here. Sending his villagers forward. Yeah, has spotted this copper mine, wants to protect this copper mine from any influence, but Dutch, yeah, they don't really care about coin, that they have the banks. And so, yeah, if he had scouted this one as well, Or maybe they can see my flare. Then I would have definitely placed it over here. Obviously, for a Russian player, having Hans is much more important. Putting them over here, yeah, I don't know. Would be really nice. Like, this would cause real problems for Major Dog around the 12-minute mark. First bank is up. Both players have probably aged. Let's take a look at the text completed. Yes, none of the players have built a market yet, which is a darn shame for the Russian player. They do need the hunting ducks, possibly the steel traps as well. Do like the placement of this bank. It is so perfectly placed. Look at it. It's just a marvel to look at. Like this house, just a little spot here for a villager to mine if needed, blocking probably entrance to this part. Do find this bank, yeah. Then I would just like build a little piece over here, just a wall piece over here, just block that. Right now, just Cossacks just moving. And speaking of Cossacks, in not as far as I can see, but a few musketeers moving in, trying to stall this economic build-up. Might be able to... Oh. 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 This could have gone completely differently. I don't know, but maybe he got a little bit flustered by the fact that he might have actually lost the bank. I don't know. If he just had moved those villagers over here, put them on coin, these musketeers wouldn't have chased them, and then he would have actually saved 2 villages. Houses coming up, they could have been on the front, so these musketeers couldn't have moved in the first place anyways, and so that's why that little wall piece might have actually been quite worthwhile to spend. And yeah, it seems to be like a repeat of the previous game we had between Jeremuno, and here we have Russia just applying pressure in the second age, denying the Dutch player any food gathering. The Dutch player can send a few wood crates perhaps, but not in the position at all to deal with this first pressure. Nice batch of 5 hussars coming out, and at that point in time, I think, yeah, Russian has made the correct decision to build the stables, outmass the hussars, because he has seen there's no racks here, and probably going to move in for another raid. Yeah, don't exactly know why Major Dog is mining gold. He's got 4 banks. It's more than enough. What he should be looking at is like, how do I get enough wood to build my 5th bank? And yeah, these trees in the back of his town center, they're absolutely fine to get. Like, just get the wood, like build a market, trade the wood. Doing a very slow 4 bank FF surely isn't one of his options, I would say. The hussars moving around, trying to get a stray villager, but as I said before, these Huns were herded correctly. I would like to use 36 taunt with Fanny saying that is not correctly. However, I can't, as I explained before. Players can hear me if I am alone. Picking up a really nice villager over here, that's quite good. That's exactly what he needed, because he might have lost quite a lot of units, by the way. Let's take a look. No, it's actually quite okay. It looked much more dire from where I was looking at, but he's only lost 2 villages, so he is actually totally fine now. From the looks of it, yeah, it's putting them all on wood. And ladies and gentlemen, I hate it when I'm proven right. Let me say this again. If you are Dutch on Thar Desert, get those Huns near your town as soon as possible. Sacrifice those villager seconds, move those elephants to your base, get them as soon as possible, because we have here that moment that I was talking about. No food. Desperate to age. But no food. Now what do you do then? Do you build a market? Which he has. Do you trade for food? Which he can. Do you build a farm? Perhaps. Why don't you build a tiny two-piece wall here? Loloekie has been continuously attacking him from the front. Build just 2 pieces of walls. Build a farm perhaps then. Get there, right? Aged. Probably sending mercs. Looking at coin gathering. He literally hasn't got anything else but coins. It's got to be mercs. We could take a look at his card. Yeah. Rather strange mercs, I must say. The hacker pals, yeah, fun. But Swiss Python or any other type of merc, perhaps a better choice. Of course, the Dark Riders, the Black Riders are quite good though. It's got 2 stables, 1 barracks, but as I said before, where is the hunt? So much wood though, so yeah. Yeah, build a farm. Then again, I should also say that because of the placement of this house, I do understand that you're very busy and you're focused on other parts of the map battle. Because of this house, you're not able to build a farm anymore here. Meanwhile, Loloekie has been looking around the map, looking for where is he getting his resources, and well, we sadly know that he isn't getting any food anywhere. And it looks like he's sent at least 1 merc shipment. These riders shouldn't move too far out. These Strelitze are quite capable of taking care of them. And meanwhile, all this time that we have been talking about Huns and Dutch and building farms and houses that are misplaced and merc shipments being sent, meanwhile, Loloekie has gotten like a field day on the map. Like he's got almost complete map control, like, which is actually quite good, because all of his villages have been just so peacefully gathering food without any of these hacker pals now. Yeah, what could I say? Really, what could I say about hacker pals? I think just by choosing the hacker pals over the Black Riders and perhaps another shipment, a few skirms, just by choosing the hacker pals, he's probably lost the game. Like, how is he? Oh, but finally a few cannons. And I do like that part of Major Dark, that he's making use of cannons, and cannons are arguably a very strong unit. Also a bit scary, and you see what happened. Like Loloekie, which was actually to my mind a bit unnecessarily, but has retreated just because of a few cannonballs. And so Yeah, why not go for even more? I do wonder why he's gathering so much food. Then, okay, mate, build a tower or build a farm. Perhaps build even a town center. No, surprisingly, surprisingly, these hacker bells have done a lot better than I actually expected. They really do. There's still 3 on the field. Meanwhile, the Cossacks have done a really nice way, killed the cannons, killing even more skirmishers. And yeah, I do have to say, that went actually quite well for Major Dark. But to my experience, hacker bells, that's the fun unit to use, but they die so quickly. I would still say Black Ride is such a better shipment to send. There are enough units still for Major Dark. He's got the technological advantage, absolutely. And he has got access to at least another skirm shipment, which he probably should take. Or perhaps go for the Black Riders. Anyways. Or... yeah, he's got a tremendous amount of wood. So it's not very likely that he is going to be able to age up to the 4th age, but if he ever manages, then yeah, this card could make all the difference. 1,000 wood being sent. Yeah, let my silence speak for this decision. Yeah. As a Dutch player myself, I haven't got it in any of my decks, but especially for Dutch, I mean, then I would use my banks to buy 1,000 food. If it would come push to shove, I'm really strapped for food like I am right now, and I needed 1,000 food, I would use my banks. No cap. This I like. This definitely I like. Like, he's making clear use of the technological advantage that he has. His units are still stronger and can take on the Russian army. The Cossacks have been completely depleted. There's only 1 on the field right now, and this I do like. Yeah, I do like. He had a lot of wood, and I was wondering, like, what are you going to do with it? Like. Like, you need to use it, and he's used it in a really smart way. He has gained some map control, and actually at this point I would say, like, yeah, you know, don't know if you have the church card. No. What? Yeah, I hadn't noticed, but these 2 food cards, they should have been Amsterdam and Rotterdam Bank, and perhaps this, you know, unit cards should have been the church card. He's literally just limited to having 6 banks. He's got only 4, so he should be building. Yeah, you should use these resources to build more banks. Now, this town center has been spotted. A few Black Riders. Finally. Those Black Riders would have been such a tremendous help when you have all those cannons to defend. This is disputable. if this is the best use of resources, definitely wasn't likely I was going to be able to take down this town center. And yeah, losing these halberdiers. Where are the Black Riders now? Oh. You did see the Cossacks in trample mode. That's just funny. Okay, good. Got skirmishes now. Alright. We got the Black Riders now. Yeah. And loloekie has resigned. It's just, yeah, it's been in H2 for such a long time. No food on the map I left anymore. And even though, I do have to say, Major Dark made quite some interesting choices. Has got a very interesting deck, I would say. Completely ignores the fact that he needs 6 banks, probably. He has one though, and congratulations to him, 1-1. And so, this series of best of 3 is going to be extended for another game, which is good for us, isn't it? Meanwhile, I am just sat here, just completely baffled by that Dutch strat. Yeah. I do like the cannons though. Like he did make a good choice with the cannons, but yeah, hackapels.
Yes.
Oh, really nice. 2.2C Iowa. That's the map that I've been looking for. But you know, it isn't picked up by my computer, even though I place it in the folder all the time. That's quite good. I pick first. Yeah, winner.
Yes.
I believe you have to change, right? Let me ask. Loloekie knows. EP Dutch, yeah, with his disgusting bank production, yeah. Strong civ. But well, of course, I can't make any recommendations, but mate, come on, like, why not build 6 banks? Come on. And why the hackapels? And why the 1000 food? I mean, I don't know, like if you had built a farm at the time when you were like chopping wood like a madman, you would have probably gathered 1000 food with 10 villages anyways, and it would have saved you a card which you could have used for extra units, I believe. But Oh. French again. And he's gone for the same matchup as the first game. Whew. Yeah. Yeah, I feel a deep pit in my stomach of depredation about this. I mean, having lost the first match, right? Also, of course, just realizing how strong Japanese can be if you allow them enough time. Also thinking about this map with all the Huns scattered, the ample opportunity for Japanese to just shrine the entire map. The only thing I could think of as French would be
Are you ready?
It is just a really huge dilemma on what exactly can you do. Like, you definitely need to trade route. You have to keep up some H2 push, so you need the stables. And just basically just pray for the best, that you keep enough hussars around on the map to keep him locked up in his town center. Also need at least the 8 expo card to deal with the first batch of Ashigarus coming out. I'm just hoping to keep his villagers away from gathering any resources. But it's just going to be rather difficult for Major Dark, because we have seen him do that on Klondike, and it has slowed him down so much that it allowed loloekie to not only steal away a few trade posts himself, but also get enough shrine population up so that he could at least get, we saw it, like around 15 Ashigarus on the field and push away those hussars. So yeah, what to do? Oh, he's gone. We did have another caster saying like that he could join me. On second thought, I would say like, yeah, thank you. Let's definitely do so. However, it's only one match to go, and I'm totally fine with the notion that many other casters are not interested in casting lower ranking games, whereas I actually truly enjoy them, because these are people that I know, these are people that I have played with, these are also strategies that I know of, and I'm completely fine with other people taking the higher ranks and I'm just casting other games, which to me is so much more exciting. Actually, we have loloekie, Japanese player. He's got 3 Huns very nearby his town, 3 Huns over here, 1 really far away. It looks to me that there's a hunt here missing, so 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it seems really garbled, so I'm just going to say array. Yep. Once again, whenever I am casting, I do really want to offer both players the fairest opportunity available, and I've seen time after time now, especially in the previous game, like in the other series, there was a hunt then with Beautiful, and we were discussing it, and that hunt was a bit far away. And eventually it turned out to be a decisive hunt. If that hunt had been in another place, a bit closer to his town, maybe heard it a bit earlier as well, that would have provided the French player with enough food to fight off the advance of the Aztec player, because the Aztec player rushed into the other hunts. And so from now on, I'm actually deciding that the games that I'm casting, even if there is the slightest doubt, I'm going to ask for a rehost. Right now we have 3 hunts here, and we have another, yeah, again. So I do have to say this again. It is basically this hunt, right? This hunt should be comparable to this hunt, but it isn't. This one should be here. And the first 3 hunts are similar. I am quite aware of that, but the 4th hunt, that might actually be a decisive one, and I don't want that. This is the last game. I want a fair match, and I do not want to have a situation where I'm sat there like 10 minutes, 15 minutes into the game and wondering like, oh my god, like if that hunt had been closer. Yeah, he might be right. Let's try a 3rd time, but then... And, you know, because of the last 3 hosts, the other casting time, and the controversy that evolved from it, we got 1, 2. Yeah, this is a clear rehost. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. And actually, if the hunts had spawned in reverse, that the France player had more hunts around his town, I would have actually offered them to play, because the Japanese basically just need them for shrining, but this was just too many. I'm going to propose 2.2b. Well, I do like it that both players have the maps. I only wish that most other players would be as well prepared as loloekie is and Major Dog. No. This is the fourth try. Fourth try the charm. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and yeah, this looks better. Like there is this slight off hunt over here which hasn't spawned on the other side. He's got like 1, 2, 3, 4, and he's got 1, 2, 3, 4. So yeah, there's seems to be one hunt missing over here, but it's for both players, so this is okay. Good. Both players have decided to go with this. There seemed to be one hunt missing, but that's just I'm just basing that on memory, that there should be at least one and another hunt here, like there are here. That's quite okay. To the north we have the French player with a nice hunt, really centered around his town center. He's going to like that. Like it hardly needs any herding. Villagers just drop out of his town center right on the bison, minimizing all these idle villager seconds, and dropping down a market, going straight for the hunting dogs. These Huns seem to be actually drifting off towards his town center, so he's going to be really happy with that, and he might just only be needing to herd these Huns back, because these definitely seem to be drifting off away from his town center. So he's got these pronghorns. They are such a nasty type of herd to hunt to herd, because they can jump off in wildly in all kind of directions. Looking at the treasures here, yeah, we have a choke point over here with a nice little bit of hunt, and loloekie has opted to shrine this just to make sure that any attack from the center is going to be picked up by him. 90 food treasure, 80 food treasure. This is going to help Major Dog age up a lot faster, and I would definitely take these ones. 135 XP would be really helpful in getting more his first shipment faster, but other than that, there doesn't seem to be any tomahawks, which is quite surprising. It really is. Let's take a look. I totally expect hunting dogs to be researched, so yeah. Both players doing completely expected things. Heavily Kami sensor again. loloekie is going to go for a heavy shrine build. And for the natives, this is perhaps pertinent information for the French player. We do have Lakota, and for the Japanese player, we do have Inca. So if this match gets prolonged into the 4th age, as it had the last game, these two native civilizations might be truly helpful. Now I do expect Major Dog to go for another trade route play, and to have loloekie just like trying to build up his shrines as fast as possible, get a few musketeers out, Ashigaru I should say, and trying to minimize any damage to his shrine population. These Huns now being herded perfectly back to his town center, and yeah, these Huns have also drifted off a bit, but these are being herded back as well. And so in the meantime, I would say, yeah, for roughly well into the 3rd age, Major Dog is going to be completely comfortable food wise, very differently from what happened on Thar Desert. First trade post going down, which is totally expected because he is aging probably. Let's take a look, and he is. And yeah, which I find surprising, loloekie is not far behind. He's going to age Yeah, quite nicely as well. Consulate on Portuguese, a few shrines on wood already, so that's quite good. And just building more and more shrines. He's already at 40 pop, shrine pop, so that's quite good. Probably a second trade post going down, perhaps a barracks here, sieging this shrine, getting control of this middle hunt, and then yeah, I would say Major Dog might be really set to win this game. If I would say he is slightly more successful in providing an answer to the onslaught of Naginatas we saw and all those Yumis. I would totally expect loloekie just to go for the same composition, because there's really no need for any other at this moment, right? Versus France, you know, guns, Yumis, Naginatas, skirms, right? Cannons. Major Dog is taking the complete trading route, going for the stagecoach probably as well, and having sent 7 on wood is going to hopefully, yeah, which is a bit of a shame. I mean, it is highly unlikely that loloekie is going to move out and contest this trade route anytime soon, and so it really doesn't make any sense to me to have a defensive barracks in your base at the moment. The barracks would have been much better served here in the center of the town, in the center of the map, taking control of all these nice, fat, juicy bison in this coin mine, and also denying at least this shrine, right? Just taking this down. loloekie is just getting an immense amount of wood. Like, it's very dead. It's just 110 pop shrine. And so, pikemen coming out. And this is exactly what a Euro Civ should be doing. Getting at least a few pikemen out. And at this point, yeah, beautiful said that if you have only 5 pikemen, that is not a reason yet for Japanese to move out. But as soon as you get above 10 or 15, then that is such a threat that the Japanese player has to move out. We have a complete repetition of the first game on Klondike. Ashigaru's, well, one less than on Klondike, I don't know why, but Ashigaru's killing off this trade post hasn't been stagecoached. Oh, it has stagecoached. Shrines going down, but yeah, mate, where are the experts? Or the, I mean, you knew he was going to do some Ashigarus. Like, where are the experts? And if I didn't know better, I'm just going to put it on text being recent. If I didn't know better, he's aiming. Oh no, he's put them all from coin. He's got all the resources to age up, and he's aging up. Oh my god. Well, I guess sacrificing 2 trade posts. Yeah, okay. One could do that. He's going to lose these pikemen, and that was actually basically his only threat on the map. And you know, what can he do when once he reaches the 3rd age? Let's take a look. Well, he does have a lot of better cards in his French deck than in his Dutch deck. Cannons definitely, a few German Black Riders. Well, I would definitely also go for the skirms. Black Riders, of course, to deal with the Naginatas coming up pretty soon. Putting up his trading post. Musketeers moving in, and actually I do like it. I like it that he's built his trading post back up. It cost him only 200 wood, but it has saved most of his trading route. A bit of lag, because now loloekie has to go back and siege this again, and at the same time he's aged Loloekie is aging as well. At the same time, that has offered him enough time to hopefully send some skirmishes or maybe the cannons. One really OP batch of one skirmisher coming out together with the skirmisher card and the guns. Will they be in time? They are not, but they will definitely chase away these skirmishers. Now let's take a look. What is loloekie going to do as soon as he sees them? Oh, they are not going to meet, sadly. Yeah, I just want to see if his trade posts are on wood. Let's take a look. Yeah, they are on wood, so he's got enough wood again. Rebuilding it. Shrine count has been minimized to 120. Stabilized. There are no shrines here anymore, so he could safely hunt there. Skirmish is moving in, and loloekie's army is just not fit to deal with this yet. There is a bit of lag. That Major Dark has mentioned it, that there would be a bit of lag. So yeah, it's quite to be expected. And more wood coming in. And loloekie has aged, but right now these goons and skirmishers are going to do quite well against the Naginata and the Yumis. And both players seem to be doing the exact same build as the first game. And let's just hope that it's going to end up a bit more favorable for the green player than as in the first game. Once again, it is just quite difficult to deal with these Yumis. Yumis, 21 range attack versus skirmishers 18 range attack, and they also have, they are not carded yet, so they don't have the range the skirmishers have, but still very scary. Good. I do believe that his next card should be the cannons, or perhaps the Black Riders, right? One can never know how many, well, quite a lot, how many Naginatas will be made, so these guns are not enough to protect these skirmishers. And so I do like it how these Naginatas are kept behind, out of sight of Major Dark. Major Dark is under the impression that there's only infantry on the field, which he shouldn't be fooled by, because, oh my god, don't get fooled by that. Like, you know what happened last game. This is basically the exact same thing happening over again, right? He's going to overcommit. He's not having enough guns or anti-cav to protect the cannons. Going to lose always anti-cav. Going to lose all the cannons and then also the skirmishers to boot. And so, yeah, the cannons are a good thing, but where are the Dark Riders made? The Black Riders, and where are the guns? Like, you need a lot more guns. You need like guns like there's no tomorrow. Loloekie is definitely going to play the same style as he has before, a mix of Ashigaru and Yumi, and quite a big mass of Naginatas. And so, yeah, it is a wonder to see that both players are actually just doing a complete repeat of the first game and not adapting to their strategies. How would a complete gun mass with skirmishes be? Or how would possibly just Yumis and Ashigarus and flaming arrows and Yamabushis taking care of this trading trade post, and they might actually be able to take it down. It was also slightly damaged before, not repaired, and he's not moving his army in place just right now, but I think he's just going to rebuild it. It's actually quite funny. Now, here's exactly what I was talking about. Similarly to the first game, loloekie has gotten enough Naginatas to pose a serious threat to this rather small cavalry mass that Major Dark has. He's moving in his skirmishes. He's baiting his cannons again, and he's doing a really good job on hiding his Naginata. So that's yeah, I do have to commend loloekie for his strategy. Now his Naginatas are inside. Major Dark realizes now that he has to protect his cannons. Can he keep his cavalry army close to his cannons? Can he rectify the errors that he made in the first battle? And he can. He has been able to keep most of his cuirassiers alive, but he desperately needs not any more cuirassiers, mate. You need black riders. Where are they? You need guns. Oh, and we missed that part probably. The Naginata now moving in. One cannon is going down. There's just too many Naginatas in the field for these guns to deal with. And the reinforcing Naginata is such a deja vu of the first game as well. These really expensive units, the cuirassiers, doing some hefty damage. But will it be enough? Actually, I've been quite pessimistic about this, but actually, the roles seem to be reversed. Don't know exactly why. Might it be that loloekie has got 129. What's going on? What really is going on? Quite nice though. Another Naginata point. More skirmishes going down, and yeah, it's quite even actually. His cuirassiers should now be pulled back. He's clearly lost this battle. loloekie has been able to just augment his army a bit faster than Major loloekie, because obviously his base is much closer. And yeah, he does have now a lot of guns, cuirassiers as well, and it was so close. It was really close. He's got the guns now. Where are the Black Riders? Still no Black Riders. Okay. Then, guns, cannons, attack these shrines. Force loloekie to come at you. And loloekie is just, basically just rebuilding his army composition in the same manner. Cuirassiers, guns versus Naginata and Yumis. $1,000 coin being sent. This might actually mean that there might be a few more cannons in play. And yeah, lolokie's got so many resources really. He might actually be able to go to H4. Not quite right now, but very soon. If he's able to save his army, just poke around a bit. Not antagonize the French player too much so that he has to fully commit. Just enough to keep him in the third age. Then loloekie might be very well comfortably in the fourth age, having access to that 4 flaming arrows shipment, and that would probably mean GG for loloekie, for the green player, of course. Just going to check whether the green player is aging. He's not aging, so he actually made extra units from his resources. So that 1000 coin has been put into even more cuirassiers, and they haven't been upgraded, just carded. But yeah, at this point I would like, if you have so many cuirassiers versus so many yumis and naginatas, I would like to see the 1000 wood, 1000 gold upgrade. That would be totally worth it, perhaps even necessary. It is a shame that he hasn't used the Lakota yet. Like, he's got the wood, get the Lakota, dog soldiers. It's going to be really nice. Yeah, I'll let my silence speak for itself. Luckily, that went quite well for Major Thar. I had actually feared the worst when I saw how the goons were attacking the yumis and the cuirassiers were caught out with the naginatas on the other side. These two armies should have been exactly on the opposite sides, but it actually turned out quite well. But still, even more naginatas moving in, and this war of attrition is still going in Major Thar's favor, but for how much longer? These cuirassiers are just so bloody expensive, and yeah, don't know if this is really what he should be doing now. He's going to lose a lot. Yumi's shooting at half a cavalry at range, but loloekie has spaced them out quite nicely, minimizing the damage they can do. Just enough time for a few naginatas to move in, and nicely just cleaning up the very last one. And yeah, look, he's got almost enough wood now. Mate, upgrade your cuirassiers if you really so intend on playing cuirassiers here. I mean, upgrade them, right? Oh, he can't, of course. He's still in the... Is he still in the 3rd age? Oh, I totally believe he was in the 4th age. In that case, you know, get some food out. I mean, you need to age up, right? I mean, if you need to win this game, age up. And I think you spend most of your hunts now. Yeah, there's only one hunt left in the center. He's farming already. Farming is a lot slower, I believe. Hunting is 50 food, 55 if you have hunting dogs. Farming is, I think, base rate 35 food per minute. But it can be upped all the way to the 59 food per minute if you have all the upgrades and also the refrigeration card. Yeah. Now, loloekie has wisely chosen to add the Lakota tribe to his allies, and might actually use the dog soldier upgrade. That would be really nice to see. I do find it a shortcoming of him that he hasn't used the Incas yet. Incas, one of my favorite natives. Helps him also with his coin gathering and military training, but also military speed. And imagine your Ashigaru just like walking around the map, like 10 Ashigaru shooting around at villages. This is just going to be so OP with the Japanese speed upgrade and then also the Inca upgrade. In the center, Yumi's moving in. I have to clear my throat, one sec. Alright, so Yumi's moving in, and a lot of Naginata again. Yeah, from the looks of it, I think. Oh, he's added extra army. Yeah, he's added an arsenal, artillery foundry, so he's going to add some cannons as well. So he's clearly not aging up. Well, here we have the Lakota dog soldiers, and there we have them. Look at them, right? Wow, 803 HP for an H3 unit. Wow. Oh my god. Yeah, this army seems unbeatable at this moment, and his army composition at this moment is one. There aren't enough of them, and two, it just needs a ton of goons. Actually, I don't think he needs any of these cuirassiers. But yeah, so many Yumis. So many Naganatas, and then also those dog soldiers. He could even it out by sending the dog soldiers as well, but yeah. Oh, well, luckily he's got the Black Riders, so that is going to provide him perhaps with the necessary balance that he needs to fight off. Yeah, he's recognizing that this scary mass of just pure calf. It's quite difficult for his arm to deal with. Like, it's just calf to calf he might be able to take on, but he's got all those Yumis to worry about. So unless he can send cannons, and he's got not enough gold for it, he's sincerely going to be in a lot of trouble. And yeah, mate, why even more cuirassiers? Why would you? They are carded now, so they are a bit stronger, but goons, mate. Goons, cannons, goons. Meanwhile, loloekie has retaken all of the trade posts, getting a nice eco boost. We do see that, yeah, he is far ahead in economic count now. Look at his resources just pouring in. He's almost ready to go to H4 now. And yeah, Mage Dog isn't even close. Yes, and the Lakotas now. And the Lakotas are even stronger than the Japanese ones. So take all of your cav. Why do you split them? Don't separate them. Oh my god. Right, bring your skirms to You need a cannon or more goons. I mean, but whatever. Keep them together. And, well, this is do or die. Let's go, mate. Let's take this on. Let's find out who is the best tonight. Who is the top Age of Empires player on the ESOC TV channel? Is it going to be loloekie10? Is it going to be Major Dog? Cavalry moving into position, perhaps slightly over microing a bit. Dog soldier versus dog soldier, brother versus brother, friend versus friend. Who's going to take this battle? Seems that there are still a few dog soldiers alive from green player. They were a bit stronger, and quite surprisingly, but let's not talk too hastily. These units are still quite powerful, and goons are definitely not a good unit to fight units. But he seems to be able to clear it up. But look, he has H behind this, and this is so demotivating. Like when you have sacrificed your entire army, all that food and coin investment, and it seemed like you were at the upper hand, and you just like realize I'm fighting Japanese. And then you hear the click, and you see that message, and you see that the Japanese have aged. Why? Yeah, I am a bit tired. I'm not asleep, but it's just. It's just. Japan, right? It's just Japan. I mean, you can win all the battles. You can keep fighting them over and over and over again, but they keep coming back. And they remass and they come at you again and again. And this war of attrition, as I said before, is just so good for Japan, because their resources just keep on streaming in, whereas you have to convert all your eco to mills and plantations have a horrible gathering rate. And yeah, H4 units are quite coin heavy. And so whereas the Japanese player can simply keep on pressing the armor button and just have units pop out left and right. As a France player, you are quite strapped. Major Dog is perhaps preparing to go to H4 himself. Might have been able to, but indeed, as I have been saying, yeah, it was just too hard. It's really too hard. And once again, playing Japanese, if you leave them alone for too long, it is just so bloody hard, right? And I do completely agree. Yeah, I do completely agree. Even the high-ranking players are like, no, Japanese are perfectly fine. In real life, right? Not in the extreme circumstance of level 38 versus level 39 in a 1 versus 1 setting on the ESOC patch, but in real life, like in everyday games, between, as I said, the top 9% of the ESOC population is the majority is just lieutenants and captains in everyday life on the ESOC surface. Japan, if you play them, you hardly ever you lose. Like, and this is the reason why. The only danger they suffer is just at the very start, and Major Dog has opted to go with the trade route, and perhaps lost valuable minutes and seconds in which he had to actually pressure loloekie to idle the villagers or to push him inside. But even if you are successful in raiding him and at least idling his villagers, even then you quite often find yourself like raiding hard, investing into units, and then all of a sudden Japan ages to age 3 and then pulls out that stupid hat trick of those 2 flaming arrows, and boom, your entire army is gone. In any case, it is the game, and loloekie has played it quite well. I think it might have been a mistake of Major Dog to choose France for the second time again. Should have just gone for Brits. Brits are quite good at applying pressure at the Japanese civilization, or indeed even India, right? But loloekie cannot be faulted for exploiting the strengths of the Japanese player. He had been quite successful in pushing off the second age raids and contesting the trading route. So he did all the things that Japanese should do: build those shrines, put some ashigarus on the field, and just hope for the best. And yeah, that is exactly what happened. Naganatas versus cuirassiers. All the cuirassiers gone. Cuirassiers cost a lot more than Naganatas, and there you have it, right? A very expensive unit killed by a slightly cheaper unit, and that's basically it. Let's take a look at these altercations. Both players doing quite well, having good trades left and right, but then here you see that moment at 24 minutes. Just this war of attrition is just gone down the pipeline for the French player. Well played by loloekie, and loloekie is advancing to the next round. So we will be seeing him around 16. Hopefully I'll be able to cast as well. It's been quite a pleasure for me casting this, and I do hope that you have enjoyed watching these games as well. If you do have comments or criticism, might I remind you of the simple fact that if I hadn't been streaming this, you wouldn't have had the opportunity to see this wonderful match between loloekie and Major Dog as well. And so this is me logging out, probably because it's 0:30, and I think that means that the telethon is already running, right? So all of you do take this opportunity to go and head off to the telethon. I'm going to host this. Let me see. Oh, okay. The telethon is